Welcome to the mysterious case that I am going to you. In Thailand, there is a very big festival, which is the Songkran Festival, it's also called the Water Festival, held from the 13th to the 15th of April. This festival is meant to get rid of bad luck and welcome the rebirth. The main character of the story is Pichit, 44-year-old manages a Thai massage spa in Bangkok. Your shop is always full of customers. That's a pretty high income. His wife Wannipa, BA 7 years old, is a beautiful woman. The couple is married over 15 years and has 3 children. The 13th of April 2001, 2 days of Tet Songkran, Wannipa takes her children to her mother's home in Mahasarkham province, while Pichit stayed in Bangkok to look after the shop. During the festival, Pichit texting wife, "Tell me how much I miss you and your children. I want to be reunited to celebrate together." Listen, so Wannipa immediately book a plane ticket and advised him to temporarily close the shop. When the festival is over, we all go back to Bangkok. Then Pichit took a flight to Mahasarkham. That night, to welcome my son-in-law, my mother-in-law prepared a big party. Let the whole family celebrate until late at night. After a few rounds of wine, Pichit fell asleep in a small hut outside the yard. On the morning of April 16, 2024, the first day after the song ended, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning, my mother-in-law gets up and she saw her son-in-law still sleeping in the hut. I was worried I might get cold, so I went to wake up. But no matter how many times she called, the Pichit wouldn't answer. Feeling uneasy, she came to gently shake her son-in-law. But right now, she was surprised to discover that Pichit's body was stiff. Panicked, the mother rushed into the house, wake up the sleeping Wannipa girl. To hear my mother's call, Wannipa immediately jumped up and rushed out. When I saw my husband had no reaction, she stood dumbfounded on the spot. After a few seconds of shock, hurry up and call the nearest clinic. Not long after, the doctor came home. After inspection, doctors say the pituitary is no longer alive and predicted the time of death was the night before. The sudden death of her husband caused the Wannipa great pain. In the pain and confusion, Wannipa tries to arrange a funeral for her husband. 3 days later, the mother, a solemn funeral to bid farewell to the Pichit. The funeral was in pain. Friends and relatives, everyone regrets the passing of Pichit when he was quite young. They both pity you and feel empathy for the Wannipa. She now has to take care of her 3 children alone, but she did not expect that the next events put yourself in the center of public opinion. Pichit has a sister, Wannipa, who is 42 years old. More than a month after the event occurred in mid-May, Wannipa suddenly held a press conference statement. "My brother's death was not an accident. There are people who deliberately fall. In my speech, you're referring to the woman in question." Wannipa revealed before lost Pichit what a life insurance package worth 16 million, and the beneficiary is Wannipa. Because of the suspicion of hiding, Wannipa has officially asked the insurance company to delay. Wait for the police to make a decision. The insurance company also agreed to the offer. After the press conference is over, land information widely transmitted. The name Wannipa is mentioned repeatedly with allegations Insurance Island kills husband for profit. Under increasing pressure from the public, the police decided to launch an investigation into his death. Clear up all doubts. The police came to Wannipa for a statement. She said that at first, "I also thought my brother's death was an unfortunate incident, but after seeing his body at the funeral, you start to feel suspicious." Wannipa remembered, "Brother's skin looks abnormally dark. It's like being poisoned." She immediately brought this question to the Wannipa and requested a forensic examination, but unexpectedly Wannipa immediately refused. He said that the dead should rest soon. "I don't want to keep making a big deal." Next, Wannipa quickly takes Pichit's body to cremation. And since then, the more Wannipa feels that something is wrong. Did your sister-in-law kill you? Hurt her husband to get insurance money? The police then went to the doctor of the private clinic, who came to check the Pichit on the day of the incident. This doctor confirmed at the time of inspection he didn't detect anything unusual. The skin of the Pichit still has a normal color. It doesn't turn black. The police then went to the funeral service staff. These people said when they got to the scene, they didn't notice anything strange. After inspection, they confirmed on the body of the deceased there are no wounds. So the cause of death was a sudden, pathological death. 3 days after assisted in moving the body, they just discovered the skin of the Pichit has turned to black strangely. The police continue to search for relatives. Friends attended the funeral to learn more. Some people tell the wife of Pichit, Wannipa has shown unusual behavior. On the day of the funeral, many relatives have noticed the skin of the Pichit not normal. They simultaneously advised the Wannipa not to rush to cremation. It's better to have forensics check it before making a decision. But I don't understand why. She firmly refused and ignored every opinion. A cremator later went to the police. He claims he's been doing this for years. I've never seen a body so black. Then, based on these clues, the police began to suspect that there was something wrong with the case. So they decided to summon the Wannipa for questioning. Before the police allegations, Wannipa insists she did not kill her husband. Wannipa recounts details of developments on the evening of April 15th. That day, everyone drank together to celebrate the water festival. The atmosphere is very pleasant. Late at night, Pichit drunk and sleeping in the outdoor hut. She tried to get her husband up to go to bed out of the cold. But I insist on staying. You wear a pillow and the blanket sits next to you for a while until the husband is sure to go back to the house to rest. The next morning I found out the pain. Wannipa explained why she didn't want an autopsy, because it's too cruel. As a wife, she was deeply saddened by the loss of her husband. No one wants Pichit alive, because they still have 3 little kids to raise. What about the fact that it saw her husband's skin turned black? You feel strange too, but I think it could be a natural cause. The case gets more complicated when Pichit's sister, Wannipa, joined a TV show and made public photos of his brother before the body of the Pichit is in black. It looks so weird. The program also invited a forensic expert to analyze the picture. After careful observation, the expert came to a shocking conclusion. Pichit can be poisoned, but couldn't identify the specific poison. After the airwaves exploded, most people believe that Wannipa kills her husband to get insurance. She was severely criticized, become an object of public attack. Under the pressure of public opinion, Wannipa was also invited to participate, to speak up when they appear. She said she's been exhausted since her husband died. You have to take care of your 3 kids. Mental and physical collapse. Thoughts after everything is over. You can rest a little. I can't wait to be accused by the public, being investigated by the police. Viejo said she didn't want things to be pushed too far. The police have no evidence. Then things will naturally calm down. But I can't believe my husband is on TV again. Things that many people misunderstand. You're constantly getting harassing calls. Life becomes stifling and desperate. Can't take it anymore. She decided to speak out publicly to protect herself. Wannipa insists she and Pichit have deep feelings, even though sometimes there are arguments due to her husband's drinking habits. And early April of that year, her husband hid her from drinking at the bar. Until late at night, he just came back drunk. She was worried about her husband's health, so the two of them quarreled. Words back and forth. No one gives in. Makes the atmosphere very tense. In a fit of anger, she decided to take Theo's 3 children out of the hotel to stay. Then there's the Sakran Water Festival. She took her children back to their mother's hometown in Mahasarakham During this province. Time, the couple lived apart, but still text back and forth from time to time. On April 15th, her husband also left Bangkok for Mahasarakham. He was drunk again that evening. No one knew he was dead the next day. Wine believed that her husband had died due to a failing health condition. After a long period of alcoholism. What about your husband's body being blackened? The Wannipa can't explain either, but she insists she has nothing to be ashamed of. She expressed her anger when her husband, Wannipa, suddenly appeared and made an unfounded accusation. Wannipa rarely came home before. No contact with family for a year. It's like disappearing from the world. But now that my brother is dead, she suddenly stands out. Wannipa thought that while alive, your husband once told Wannipa about buying insurance. So now your husband is greedy. Deliberately make a big deal. The goal is to win insurance money. Wannipa has no stable work, difficult financial situation, frequently surreptitiously begging for money parents. Wannipa's words impacted the audience. Public opinion immediately changed direction. Many people turned to Wannipa for criticism, that she's the greedy one. Be willing to blame others for money. As soon as the show is about to end, the crew received a mysterious call. Who calls himself Somai Michit's best friend? Somai revealed 8 days before his death, Wannipa's husband. He was attacked by 2 men in Bangkok, but lucky to escape. And I told you about it myself. According to Sotomara, on the evening of April 8th, while working at Massa's, Pichit suddenly receives a message from his wife. In the message, Wine said she booked a table at a high-end restaurant in Bangkok. I hope my husband comes to dinner with me. The couple were living apart at the time. Wannipa takes BA kids to Hotel Live. Receive a message. Pichit is fun. My wife wanted to make peace with me. Closed the shop early to get to the restaurant. When he arrived, he realized that his wife had not arrived. A bottle of wine waiting for you. After a long time I did not see my wife. I texted to ask. I can't believe the Wannipa changed her mind. She said she didn't want to eat there anymore and told him to go ahead. I have 7 hopes, but still reluctant. Return the bottle and drive home. On the way home, as Pichit crosses the highway, then suddenly there's a motorcycle speeding from the back. There were 2 men in the car. The man in the back pulled out a gun for shots in a route towards the Pichit. Fortunately, Pichit detected in time. Moreover, the car door is closed. So I escaped death in the fast lane. After the fact, Pichit was scared, worried that they might be targeted by a gang or accidentally guilty of that. I should be avenged. Best friend Somai, the more you think about it, the more abnormal she suspects Pichit's wife is Wannipa standing behind, but Pichit didn't care. I believe my wife will never do anything crazy. Even though the husband and wife sometimes fight, but the feeling is still good, not enough to hurt each other. After the attack, Pichit didn't report the police because you're not hurt and you don't want to make a big deal of it. But from then on, your mental state is becoming more and more abnormal. I sit alone in a chair. Stupid people who look at space look very tired. Once Somai visited, Pichit saw you sitting there laughing innocently. He muttered something and suddenly started crying. That image makes Somai not shiver. Somai believes that Pichit is possessed by the devil. A few days later, she took him to the temple to cast out evil spirits. But this doesn't seem to be working. The spirit of the Pichit is as vague as ever. Somai began to suspect that the change of Pichit related to the 8 Quarters attack. Maybe it's because you're so scared that your spirit is in such a mess. She asked if he remembered the attacker's face. Pichit said the shooter looked a lot like a close friend of his wife's, but because it was dark, I wasn't sure. The tales of Somai to the audience at the studio endlessly amazed, which means that the motorcycle Pichit attacker may be an acquaintance of Wannipa. Sotomara revealed even though Pitch is not familiar with the attacker. But I know his name. I'm going to say that name tomorrow. The host immediately interrupted. Request not to disclose important information to avoid affecting the police investigation. After the show, the circumstances are once again the public even more interested in this case. My whore was going to use the program to clean up the mess. I didn't expect Somai's call. It makes people even more suspicious of you. After the broadcast, the police went to Somai for a statement. She said that Pichit attacker is Cyril Crack. You've never met him yourself. Pichit was attacked before he died. Somai is not sure. Are these 2 things connected? You know when you're alive. Pichit is very infatuated with a bar called Sujata. If he had time, he'd go to the bar and find that girl. Somai suspects that this girl has cast a spell on Pichit. Make him crazy. The police feel Somai is somewhat superstitious. So I don't quite believe this speculation. But to be careful, they still decided to find the girl who works at the bar called. She said they were just normal drinking friends. There's no other relationship. Because there's a lot of common ground, they're a little closer. The night before the day, Pichit headed to Tsai Addiction Center in Mahasarakam. On April 14th, he met Suchota at a bar. And then the Pichit looked very moody and said a lot of strange things. He said he didn't want to go to see Ao, because I don't know what's going to happen when I get there. Pitch also told Suzuki to take good care of himself. Maybe they'll never see each other again. According to Sutrota, Pichit is very reluctant to go to Marso.com. It's as if he had a hunch about something bad. But before that, your wife said, Pichit for missing family. I quit my job in Bangkok to get back together. Can't Wannipa lie? To search for more information, the investigation team extracted the surveillance to the evening of April 8th, when Pichit was at a restaurant in Bangkok and on the way back. At 10:04 p.m., the camera in front of the restaurant captured Pichit wearing black t-shirt, walking into a restaurant alone in sneakers. A waiter greeted him. At the same time, in another corner outside the restaurant, 2 suspicious men are sitting on a motorcycle right across the street. They seem to be following the pic. The person in the back of the motorcycle is constantly looking at the phone with that AI. Not long after they moved the car to a roadside bush, the person in the back stepped out of the bush is a bag. They both quickly left. At 11:22 p.m., the restaurant's front camera captured Peach leaving. 11 minutes behind the camera along the highway recorded the entire process of the attack. The video shows Pichit is driving a black car. I was suddenly hit by a motorcycle. The guy in the back pulled the shots in a row, and they both accelerate to escape. Another camera at a nearby intersection. There was a clear recording of the two criminals running away. At 11:36 p.m., they both left the scene. The driver wears a helmet, and the person in the back doesn't. Police to Pichit's house in Bangkok and found the black car he was driving on the evening of April 8th. After inspection, they found bullet holes in the driver's seat. It's clear that the attacker's goal is to finish off the Pichit. However, the one thing that makes the police wonder is that Pichit, since you were at the restaurant, but not immediately. While Pichit's case is getting more and more attention, the media is also starting to investigate exploit more. Some reporters have found Pichit regularly inject muscle-building drugs hormones to maintain body shape. This could have caused serious damage to health. In addition to that, Pichit also has a habit of drinking a lot. It makes the body weaker. Maybe this was the cause of her sudden death. Someone showed me a picture of Pichit's body, full body blackened for a shaman. He confirmed Pichit's been hit by some kind of bone poisoning. The smell causes the victim's body to be slowly poisoned. According to the French, the enchantress can control the moment of death. Even forensics can't find the cause. The police are well aware that they need to find out the truth. Otherwise, this case will be more complicated than ever. When they're stuck, Wannipa is suddenly led by a man named Pichit to the police station. Tell me, Pichit has a pretty good relationship with his brother Pichit, and ever since Pichit died, Pichit constantly receives threatening phone calls. Every time he goes out, he feels watched. When the police ask about the specific situation, Pichit, tell me, I've been getting calls from a strange man lately. This person is constantly asking about the progress of the Pichit case. Pichit asked the opposite. The opponent refused to reveal his identity, even let out insults. I feel so scared. Pichit told this story to Wannipa. I think it has something to do with my brother. Wannipa rushed Pichit to the police. Wannipa says this has something to do with it. Wannipa, she does things, so the heart is restless. I want to know the progress of the case, so I tried to ask around, and now it's aimed at Pichit. But maybe the Wannipa still holds a grudge against the Wannipa because of what she said on the TV show. They want to seek revenge. 2 months after the location died, police arrested Wannipa on suspicion of murder. After being arrested, Wannipa resolutely pleaded not guilty. Wannipa was born at the age of 987 in Mahasarokam, BA 7 years old. Her father died early and her mother raised her alone. As an adult, Wannipa went to Bangkok and met Pichit. They both fell in love and got married, and gave birth to 3 children. Massage parlor of 2 successful couples. My career is going up. Wannipa decided to quit her old job to be with her husband. Thanks to the efforts of both, they've bought a house and a car in Bangkok and have a decent life. But these things also seem to be a cover. In fact, the police have collected 10 key pieces of evidence arrest of the Wannipa. Based on clues, they're tracking 2 men on a motorcycle at night. There was a murder. One of them is Wannipa, 25-year-old motorcyclist that night. The other was 25-year-old solemn, who fired the shots. Wannipa caught in a rented apartment. He claimed that he was only doing what was requested of others. I'm not used to Pichit 8 quarters. A man named Suwon called him. He said he would pay for 1,000 silver to spy on someone. There is also a companion solemn. Initially, Wannipa thought it was just a simple tracking task. Should have accepted. That night, he drove the solemn motorcycle to the designated location. While waiting, solemn stepped into the bush and took out a gun. Right now, Wannipa just realized that this is not merely tracking. It's assassination. He panicked to retreat, but was threatened by solemn. Wannipa was reluctant to continue. After the solemn case disappeared without a trace, police visit according to Wannipa's testimony and arrest the mediator hired the person to carry out the murder. Soon after, Suwon confessed to everything. He said he was just a broker, looking for someone to do the job. When the Wannipa contacted him, she transferred a total of 300,000 to find someone to kill me. The money was too attractive, so Suwon agreed. After receiving the money, Wannipa paid him 4,000 silver to support the gunner. Suralong remaining 45,000 silver Suwon transfer for Suralong. The next thing he doesn't know. Towards Wannipa. After she was arrested, she refused to admit it. However, the police found a text message exchange in her phone, between Suwon, along with the bank transaction history of 300,000 in the face of irrefutable evidence. Wannipa finally confessed. She claimed that the relationship between her and her husband when you have money down. You are the moon. I often go to bars with a lot of women. Every time he's discovered, he promises to make amends. But it never really changed her 7 hopes. Not only that, Pichit is hot. Every time he's wrong, he's angry at you. Wannipa gets more and more angry. I hope he disappears from the world. A month before the case, Wannipa finds out her husband is having an affair. You two argue again. And then the Wannipa took the children away from the house. After this incident, she was determined to plan to murder her husband. At the end of the month, Wannipa contacted the Sri Lanka gunman online. 1/4 of 2 people meet in Bangkok. Think about how to kill Pichit. Then Wannipa went to Suwon for help. Suwon contacted Wannipa again to participate in the plan. In addition, the Wannipa tried to buy a gun. Sneaky put it in the bushes opposite the restaurant where she met her husband. She did it to avoid detection. Is related to the fact. I thought the plan was perfect. But Pichit narrowly escaped death. I am afraid my husband will suspect me. I rushed my 3 children home. I can't believe your husband didn't just call the police. Actively communicate. He said he wanted to celebrate with the whole family. At the police station, Wannipa said that after the plan to kill her husband, she's very sorry. She was relieved that the bullet did not hit. But what she didn't expect was that just one day after she got home, suddenly died. But the police don't believe it. They suspect she's continuing to commit murder. After 7 defeats, despite being thoroughly interrogated, Wannipa only admitted to hiring assassins. The other issues are completely silent. The police have to find more evidence. Wannipa gave his brother's bones to the police. I hope the forensics can find a clue. During the investigation, Project Team find a doctor who knows all kinds of poisons. This person is certain that the death of Pichit is related to a plant called the honeysuckle. The leaves of this plant are shaped like fish. The roots have a strong smell. As you crush it, the smell becomes more concentrated. From ancient times, Thai fishermen used the roots of this plant to soak the water, and then it goes into the river to paralyze the fish. When fish are poisoned, they'll slow down, making it easier for fishermen to catch them. However, over time, this method has been phased out. Many people don't recognize this plant anymore. Fish that are poisoned by the leaves of the honey tree can still be eaten. Eat the roots directly. This tree was poisoned and died. After a period of 1 to 2 days, the victim's body will turn black. Maybe we all have our own answers. The victim slept overnight at her mother's house and suddenly became a corpse black the next day. And it's clear that the person who tried to kill him was right there. However, until now, police are still trying to find more evidence against him. I just hope one day the truth will be revealed. What do you think about this case? Comment below. Don't forget to press the channel subscribe button so you don't miss it. Hi. See you later.